What?
What?
What the hell is this?
Harumph. I didn't get a harumph out of that guy.
Give the governor harumph.
Harumph? You watch your ass.
I see you shiver with anticipation.
Let the show begin.
Hey everybody, this is David Heretic coming at you with another edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. And tonight, alright, we're going back to Erik Gronwall. Yes, indeed, Erik Gronwall fans, feeling you. Come on now. Here we go. Before we go any further, for those of you who are feeling inclined to doing all of the clicks and the likes and the bibbity-bibbity bop, do me a favor, before you do all that stuff, please watch the whole video first, okay? Give me a chance to actually earn those clicks and likes. Now, after the video's done, if you still feel like doing all those clicks and likes, then by all means, feel free to click away. This comes as a request from Frank Canini, and Frank wanted to see me react to this. It is Erik Gronwall doing a vocal cover of the Judas Priest tune, Painkiller. Now, have I heard this song before? Full disclosure, yes, I have. I did a reaction to this song. First time I ever heard the song, I did it right here on the channel. It's back there somewhere. You can go search for it, and I'm sure you'll find it. I had to really kind of explain that one because Judas Priest and I have a kind of weird history. So you can go and hear all about it. Go watch that reaction. I promise it'll all make sense. So I am familiar with the song. I've heard the song several times, more times than I could care to count, since I did a reaction to it, because it turned out I ended up loving that tune. Now, having said that, this is a vocal cover from Erik Gronwall. So, I will be reacting to the cover, not the original song in any way, shape, or form, all right? So, this is going to be all about the cover, not the original song. Please keep that in mind. Let's see, this was posted by Erik Gronwall, no surprise, and the video has 106,000 views. It'll get you there. Other than that, there's really nothing else left to say. Link to the original video will be down below in the video description for your viewing pleasure at your leisure. Let's get started. What do you say? Are you ready? Are you ready? Because here we go. All right, here we go. Painkiller, Erik Gronwall, Judas Priest cover. Now, here's the interesting thing. Are we going to do a carbon copy cover, or are we going to put our own spin on it and make it our own? Good question. I don't know. Something tells me that we're going to be doing a carbon copy cover. I really don't see too many bands trying to take this particular song and put their own spin on it. I could be wrong. I absolutely could be wrong, but something tells me this is going to be a carbon copy cover. So we'll see how this goes. All right, let's do this.
All right, boy, let's do this.
Yep.
Terrifying scream, erase and fall the finger.
sweeping was actually really good there. It wasn't exact, but it was still very cleanly done. Okay. I'm going to say some things that are probably going to trigger some people. And listen, I'm not intentionally trying to trigger people, okay? I'm just expressing my thoughts, and I'm not going to sugarcoat them, okay? And if you find yourself getting triggered, I'm just going to apologize in advance. It is a carbon copy cover. Okay, let's call a spade here. It is definitely a carbon copy cover. He has taken a couple of liberties with the delivery, not exactly hitting the same notes that Rob hit. Now why that is, I don't know. Maybe he's not able to get as high as Rob. Maybe he's not able to do the techniques quite as well as Rob, but what he comes up with sounds just fine. Okay, I like right before the guitar solo, that sustained note, he just stayed on the one note, where on the original recording, Rob did a glissando up, a full octave up, and Erik's just holding the one note. It sounds fine. I got no issue with that. It sounds perfectly fine. What he came up with was not displeasing to the ear at all. Now here's where I'm going to trigger some people. In some regards, he's hanging with Rob, pretty much same level. And this is where I'm going to trigger him right here. In other regards, folks, Judas Priest fans, listen, no offense, but in some regards, Erik is surpassing Rob Halford. And I know right now Judas Priest fans are throwing every piece of furniture in their house at the screen right now. They are just absolutely just infuriated with what I just said there. Listen to me very carefully, okay? I am not saying that Erik Gronwall is a better vocalist than Rob Halford. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is, in this one particular performance, there are certain things that Erik is doing better than Rob. In particular, pronunciation and diction. I can understand every single thing that Erik is saying. Every word is coming out clear as day. Where on the original recording, not so much. There was a lot of things that Rob was saying, and Rob was the words that Rob was using. I couldn't really understand them. I couldn't really understand what was coming out of his mouth. Erik is being very articulate. His diction, his vowel formation, his pronunciation is clear as day. Gotta say, that is, listen, whenever you're able to surpass the original in any regard, that is to be commended. I mean, I'm sorry, but it is. In other regards, he's hanging right with Rob, like that one sustained note. I was curious. There are some key points that I'm looking for in the song. We've heard two of them so far. There are some key points, and he's hanging. He's absolutely hanging with Rob. So I have absolutely no complaints about anything that Erik is doing so far. As a matter of fact, like I said, I gotta say, I'm sorry, Rob Halford fans, Judas Priest fans, I'm sorry, but in certain regards, he's surpassing Rob. So anyway, let's keep going here. This is going to be an interesting review. Real interesting. Okay, let me get my thoughts together. I'll see you in the review, and we'll talk about it. Well, there you go, folks. That was Erik Gronwall with a cover of the Judas Priest tune, Painkiller. This was a request from Frank Canini. Okay, before I give my score, I just want to remind everybody that I have heard the song before. I did a reaction to the song, my very first time hearing the song, back on the channel, somewhere back there. I'm not exactly sure where, but I'm sure you can find it. So I've heard the original tune, so I'm not taking the original tune into account here, okay? And I'm gonna go a step further. Now listen, I enjoyed the instrumentation. I did. The guitar playing, the drumming, all sounded just fine, okay? But this was really about Erik Gronwall and his vocal cover of the song. So as much as I would love to take the instrumentation into account here, I'm not going to, okay? I think the instrumentation was really well done. I think the guitar players did a fine job with their respective parts. I think the drummer did a fantastic job with his drumming. I think instrumentally, they absolutely knocked it out of the park. But this is about Erik Gronwall's vocal ability, his vocal delivery, his vocal cover of the song. So I'm basing my reaction, my evaluation, and my score completely on the vocal cover. And that's it, okay? So please keep that in mind. Now, having said that, on a scale of 1 to 10, I'm going to give that vocal cover a 9.1. Yep, 9.1. You heard me. I didn't stutter. That is the score I feel this vocal cover deserves. Let me tell you why.
Why?
Okay, first things first, a 9.1. What does that mean? Well, a 9.1 would translate to an outstanding, amazing, impressive skill rating because overall, I gotta say, his vocal cover was outstanding, amazing, and impressive. It would also get 5 out of 5 stars and an A letter grade. Yes, an A. So there you go, a 9.1, outstanding, amazing, impressive skill rating, 5 out of 5 stars, and an A letter grade. Now, how did I come up with that score? So glad you asked. When it comes to doing covers of Judas Priest songs, to do a cover of a Judas Priest song, you gotta be pretty courageous. You're taking a pretty big jump right there. Judas Priest fan base is probably one of the most loyal fan bases you will find in the world of metal. They are absolutely ride or die. So when you decide to cover a Judas Priest song, you've got some guts to do that. Doing a vocal cover of a Judas Priest song, that takes even more guts because it's not just Judas Priest people are loyal to, it's Rob Halford that people are loyal to. And listen, and they have he has absolutely earned that. They don't call him the metal god for nothing. His vocal talent is beyond reproach. I mean, everybody knows he's an amazing vocalist in the world of metal. So when you say you're going to do a vocal cover of a Judas Priest song, that takes it to another level. And then to say that you're going to cover this song, the only song from Judas Priest that I would say is even more risky to cover would be Victim of Changes. This is probably the second most difficult song by Judas Priest to cover. It is a hard song. So when I saw that Erik Gronwall was going to do a vocal cover of Painkiller, I thought to myself, oh boy, this is going to be interesting. I remember when I discovered Erik Gronwall here on the channel back in September, he did a vocal cover of Headless Cross from Black Sabbath. And still to this day, I think is probably the most criminally underrated song by Black Sabbath. I love that song. I do not think it gets the attention that it absolutely deserves. It doesn't matter what era, what time period, who was the lead vocalist of Black Sabbath. I think this song, I think Headless Cross absolutely stands up there amongst the best of them that have come out of that group, and yet it doesn't get any of the accolades, any of the attention that other songs by Black Sabbath have gotten over the years. So I remember when I saw Erik Gronwall was covering that song by Black Sabbath. He was doing a vocal cover of Headless Cross. I was very excited. I was like, okay, let's see what he can do. And he absolutely did a fine job of it. He absolutely did. He paid homage. He paid respect where respect was due. And he did a fine job on delivering the vocal parts. And I think he sounded just fine doing them. Was I blown away? I wouldn't say I was blown away, but he absolutely delivered on the promise. So I could not knock him for that. Seeing that he was going to be doing Painkiller, that's a whole nother ball of wax. And I gotta say, I was impressed. I absolutely was. He hung right up there with Rob Halford on pretty much everything. His delivery, his pitch, his projection, his power, his sustains. He hung right up there with Rob Halford, and that alone was he did a great job on that just by those standards. I mean, he hit all the parts. He did. There was one part. There was one part he didn't do. He stayed on the fifth instead of going up to the octave. You know, on right before the guitar solos, he didn't do the glissando that Rob Halford did. He just stayed on the note. And even still, staying on the note, it still sounded good. It was still powerful. It was still projected. It was still supported, and it fit within the context of the song. So he took a little bit of a liberty there. It sounded just fine. It did not take away from the song at all. Now, here's where Judas Priest fans are going to want to put me up and crucify me and burn me at the stake.
A riot is an ugly thing. And once you get one started, there is little chance of stopping it, short of bloodshed.
There were a couple of things that I am saying this 100% with all due respect to Rob Halford, okay? And I am not joking. I am not kidding when I say this. There were some things that Erik Gronwall actually did better than Rob Halford.
A riot is an ugly thing. And I think that it is just about time that we had one!
I know. Heresy, burn me at the stake. I know, but hear me out. Erik Gronwall's diction, his vowel formation, his pronunciation were just absolutely outstanding, and they were better than Rob's. Listening to this cover, I understood every single word that Erik Gronwall said. When I first listened to the Painkiller on the channel, there was a number of places where I could not understand what Rob was saying. I couldn't get it. It was not coming through very clearly. But with Erik Gronwall's vocal cover, there was no question what was being said. His diction, his pronunciation, his clarity were, I hate to say it, superior to Rob Halford. Whenever an artist is able to surpass and do it better than the original artist, it does it in one regard or all regards. It doesn't matter. It's impressive. Okay, and you gotta tip the cap to him. You absolutely have to. And like I said, I know Judas Priest fans and Rob Halford fans right now are running to their closets looking for their torches and their pitchforks. But you know what? I do not care. That is my observation. I could not help but notice it. It was glaringly obvious. So, yeah, I gotta give credit where credit's due. I think his performance was cleaner. I appreciate Rob's range, absolutely. I appreciate Rob's power, absolutely. He will always be the metal god. There is absolutely no taking that away from him. But you got to get credit where credit's due, and Erik Gronwall did a fine job on this vocal cover. And it was, in some regards, not all regards, but in some regards, it was even better than the original. So that's an impressive job. I'm sorry, but it was. And this is how we ended up at that 9.1. I feel good about that score, and that's where we're going to stay. So let's wrap everything up here in a nice shiny bow, shall we? We have a 9.1, which is an outstanding, amazing, impressive scale rating, 5 out of 5 stars, and an A letter grade. Take your pick, I don't care, whichever one of those floats your boat. Final word, final score, I have spoken. Well, that's going to do it for this edition of Reactions, Reviews, and Rants. Hope you all enjoyed the show. Hopefully I was able to entertain you. If I was able to put a smile on your face and brighten your day, then I did my job, and I'm so glad I could do it. If you guys feel like joining the fan base, go ahead and click on that button down there. If you guys want to like the video, go ahead and like the video. If you guys want to ring the bell, go ahead and ring the bell. It honestly doesn't make any difference at all to me, but if you guys feel like doing these things, well then by all means, feel free to do so. Well, that's going to do it for the night, folks. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, this is David Heretic signing off, reminding you to stay fabulous and support each other. Later. Peace.